So it's early morning here. House is yet to rise. It's my 55th birthday today, and feeling a little bit reflective. And as I sometimes do now, when I'm feeling a bit reflective, I come and have a chat to the camera, my own little bit of therapy. So, story goes back to I was 29, and that time I decided that I was going to take on quite a difficult job. I knew it was going to be at the upper limit of my abilities. It was really going to test me. I knew it was going to be hard. So I moved from what had been a fairly comfortable job, I'd been there for 12 years, into this chaos of consulting. And after a year or two, I found myself, I was working minimum 60 hours a week. I found I was more and more working away. It was very little time spent at home. 2 years later, 2 years after I started, I had a son. And although I was home, some of the time I was away a lot. And when I was home, because my work was so intense, 60 hours a week, I just felt, or feel now looking back, that I wasn't as present as I potentially should have been. And what started to drive me at that point then was thinking, well, it's worth putting in all this sacrifice now, because on my 55th birthday, I will be able to put two fingers up and go and sail away into the sunset. And now here I am. It's Saturday morning, and it's my 55th birthday. So I wanted to have a chat about how that turned out for me, really. So 3 years after my son was born, my daughter was born, and very similar situation. I was still planes, trains and automobiles, and spend a lot of time away, and when I was home, working far too many hours. And what was also happening at the time was that I was developing quite a few health issues, all stress related. And although they were occurring quite regularly, and I was spending time away from work dealing with them issues, I did tell myself that once the stress stopped and I was able to retire, that I'd be able to recover them health problems. But now I realise actually a lot of them health problems are actually permanent. I'm not going to be able to rid myself of them, just something I'm going to have to live with. So, I'll be rattling around with tablets like many of us are, but possibly earlier than most. Okay, so I did gain some perspective a little bit later on. So 18 years into that life of kind of 60-hour weeks, I made a decision, which was 2017 actually for me. So I started the real difficult career in 1999, and when it got to 2017, I decided that this was too much, really. I don't think my health would have taken me continuing that way anyway, but I decided that rather than kill myself running up to 55 and then hitting the brick wall of, right, it's my 55th birthday, what do I do now? I'm retiring, and coming to an abrupt halt from 60 hours a week to nothing. I decided that wouldn't be a healthy thing to do, either for the remaining years I was working or for my retirement. So I decided that I'd take quite a heavy pay cut, really, and leave the career I was in for something that was much more kind of fun, really. It did turn out actually to be probably 60 hours plus, but it wasn't. It was something I really enjoyed doing, rather than a job which I had deadlines and sales targets, and it was constantly being picked up on quality of work, and it was much more relaxed 60 hours, and I did enjoy that. But I still, at that point, thought, it's still too much. So, was it 2.5 years ago, I took another demotion and moved down to a job where I was probably doing no more than 45 hours a week. And I did that for 18 months, and I really enjoyed that. But I thought, it's in a big organisation, and you felt like a small cog in a big organisation, and I felt at that point I needed a little bit more purpose in the work I was doing. So I took the job I'm in now. It's working for a charity, and I really enjoy it. I've been doing it, coming on for nearly 18 months now, and I really do enjoy it. So, as I mentioned at the start, it's my 55th birthday. Do I pull the plug Monday, go in and tell them I'm retired and moving on? I think not. I'm probably down to 40 hours a week in this job. It's got purpose. I missed out on, because I took demotions from 2017 and then again in 2022 and in 2021 and then again in 2023. I probably haven't met my retirement goals anyway, which I have no regrets about at all. Absolutely no regrets. But I probably, to meet the objectives I needed financially, do need to do a couple more years. But it's more than that. I am enjoying what I'm doing, and I do want to do well in the job. I want to leave with a bit of a legacy that I've done the job I was brought in to do in this current job. So I do feel I'm potentially a couple of years away from retirement still, and that's good, because I do believe going into retirement after working 60 hours a week in a stressful job is not going to bode well. Your adrenaline levels will drop from rocket high to rocket low. I do believe that will do, so much damage to the body, and I would rather glide in gracefully to retirement rather than sliding on my knees on a Friday night and then wondering what I want to do on the Saturday morning. So that's where I am at the moment. I have no regrets. I'm not someone who believes in having regrets, because I could have made different decisions back in 1999 and things could have been much worse than they are now. I've had a great time. Okay, I've left myself with some stress-related health problems, but we're in a good position. I've got no grumbles and no regrets. So I think the outcome is I'm gonna stay where I am for a couple of years. Maybe in 12 months' time, I might ask my employer if I can go down to 4 days a week, 3 days a week, to really glide path down into retirement. But I do enjoy what I'm doing at the moment. I don't feel it's contributing anymore to my stress levels and ill health. I think, I'm in a steady position, even if I'm not going to be able to fully recover from the damage I did in all them difficult years. So that's where I am. So hopefully you're enjoying catching up with this channel. If you are, very much welcome if you give this video a like, because it does help me reach a wider audience and then build a wider community as well. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe.